Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the LA Chargers, Justin Herbert, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, the 3-1 Chargers bolt up that are on the top of the AFC West and going over whether or not can this team win it all? Can they get a Lombardi trophy? Are they in the Super Bowl bubble? Are they in the Super Bowl conversation? Are they contenders? Yes or no? Or is it bluff? I'm going to get into the breakdown, the match, my prediction, take away everything you want and need to know about this Chargers team. But before I do, what's your guys' take? Do you think they're going all the way? You think they'll fall short? Where do you just think they are right now? Do you think they're at least in the conversation of a Super Bowl team? Comment yes or no. I'm making this clear right now. They're not a bluff. I think the Chargers are legit. I am one of the more bullish people on the Chargers, and they are already starting off better than what I thought they would. I personally did not see them going 3-1 at the beginning of the year. I said, truly, I had the Chargers finishing, I think, between 10-7, 12-5. I kind of had a 3-game spread at the beginning of the season. I said at the beginning of the season, they're going to be 1-3, 2-2. There's a tough schedule. Washington, Dallas, the Chiefs, the Raiders, division games, away games, new coach, new O-line, just lack of chemistry. They're going to struggle in the beginning, but at the end of the season, they're going to get hot, and they're going to finish 10-7, 11-6, 12-5, and push for the wild card. Right now, 12-5, 13-4 is on the radar. I know that's a little bullish to say on the team. I'm not giving that as my final prediction. I'm just saying I had them finishing 11-6 roughly with a bad start. Now that they're starting with a great start, this Chargers team is legit, and we all know why. It is the culture change that is happening with Justin Herbert. He is changing the face of the LA Chargers. I did a video on that recently before the Raiders video last week, and you guys seemed to like that one. And basically what I was saying is everyone has this presumptive opinion about the Chargers as every year they show talent, they show potential every other year, every now and then, but they just choke. They never live up to the hype. We got to remember, that was for the past 20 years of Philip Rivers. This is a complete different team. This is a complete different community, complete different roster. This is a generational talent in Justin Herbert with a brand new coach at Staley who's going to be, it seems like, a successful duo for a long time. Now, I know it's a little early, 3-1. Technically, the Chargers could finish 3-14. Anything can happen, but at this pace, this team has a generational talent in Justin Herbert. 222 yards, 3 touchdowns. In the first 2 games, he had a shaky start. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and he finished the first 2 games, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That didn't look good. But now he's at, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions? Now that ratio is looking good again. Now Justin Herbert's in that MVP conversation. Now the Chargers 3-1. Now they are at the top of the AFC West. And it's not just because of him. You got to figure the Chargers took down the Raiders last night. And right there you can see Jared Cook led the team in receiving yards. I love Jared Cook. But if they can win this football game and Keenan Allen or Mike Williams is not leading their team in receiving yards and not the number one weapon, that means we haven't even seen the best of the LA Chargers and they won by multiple scores. Obviously, there's a lot of considerations. Austin Eckler had his best game of the year by far, so that's going to take the ball away from Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But still, for them to come away with the win and their number one weapons or number one and number 2 weapons to not really be on their A game, not to say it was their fault, but I'm just saying, they weren't at their best potential compared to the last 3 games. Chargers got a high ceiling because that means they could beat you several ways on defense, on offense, through the air, on the ground, just through your mind, mentally. They can out-coach you. This Chargers team I do think is legit. Now, it's still far to see, are they as good as the Bucks, the Rams? I don't want to say the Chiefs because they beat the Chiefs, but, come postseason time, can they play out the Chiefs? I still think this team is young. I still think there is some growing pains that are going to happen. Hence, they lost to the Cowboys. They are not unstoppable by any means. But I think this is a team we will see be very good battling the Chiefs for the next 10, 15 years. And it's not even just due to Justin Herbert on offense, and Austin Eckler on the ground, and Jared Cook, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen through the air, Brandon Staley. It's on defense, too. These 2 right here, back together, healthy again. Last time these 2 were healthy again, Derwin James' rookie year, 2018, they went to the divisional round with Philip Rivers, and they were balling out. Now that these 2 are back again, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, one of the best safeties in the NFL, they are bringing the pain. And you saw last night, Derwin James, I think late in the 4th quarter, gave up somewhat of a big play to Henry Ruggs, and he was pissed. He knew he messed up, he knew he made a mistake, and he provided dividends for what he messed up on. I mean, the very following play, he had a boom hit tackle to make up for it, and then he kind of sealed the game with an interception. Derwin James knows what he needs to be doing, and he lives up to the hype. The only issue is his health concerns. He's been fine. He's been questionable these past few weeks, but if all he is questionable, that's a good thing for the LA Chargers. But with him Joey Bosa, and even Jerry Tillery and Chetna Nwosu, Drew Tranquill getting off after the quarterback. This Chargers has a pass rush. This Chargers team has a pretty good secondary. Asante Samuel Jr. is playing as good as a rookie you can really ask for. Tavon Campbell's doing well, like I said, already highlighted Derwin James. Michael Davis is solid. Nasir Adderley's doing his job. And they did this without Kenneth Murray. Was he struggling a little bit in his sophomore year? Yeah. But I think with them realizing this game, this Chargers team beating the Raiders, I think without Kenneth Murray, they'll realize, hey, keep him at just a pure linebacker, just have him work on his coverage, have him work on his tackling, and have Drew Tranquill pressure the quarterback. He was getting after it. He was creating a lot of pressure with Derek Carr. I think if they could keep all these things up, this Chargers team is going to be Super Bowl contenders. Back to looking at them, we can actually even see if we could click on the schedule. I know next week they play the Browns, and the following week they play the Ravens. So their tough journey is not over yet, but if they can head into the bye 4-2, or 4-2, 5-1, watch out for this Chargers team because their toughest road is done with. Chiefs, Raiders, Browns, Baltimore. That's the toughest 4-game stretch I think they will personally have. There's some decent games that will be iffy. Minnesota could be iffy. I'm not fearing Pittsburgh by any means. I don't think Big Ben could play half as good as Justin Herbert at this point, but still, TJ Watt, you never want to count anyone out. Denver's defense, again, none of these quarterbacks match up to Herbert's type of ceiling. Kirk, Hurts, Mac Jones, Big Ben, Drew Lock, Teddy B, who doesn't matter. But still, some good defenses you don't want to completely count out, but none of these teams compare to this 4-game stretch. And if they can finish this out 4-2, 5-1, and head into the bye, regroup, figure out how do we finish this thing out, and their toughest games to really worry about are some division games and the Chiefs again, this Chargers team is a Super Bowl contender. Again, it's kind of hard to determine exactly where they are. My power rankings are 100% a top 10 team. I haven't actually made a power ranking, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. But they're a top 10 team right now. Justin Herbert's a top 10 quarterback who's on the come up. He might be top 5 right now. He's that goddamn good, in my opinion. Austin Eckler's getting the job done on the ground through the air. We saw him light it up last night. 2 touchdowns. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen didn't have their A games, but still, that wasn't necessarily a lack of A game. It just wasn't necessarily needed. Jared Cook, he balled out. He was there when he needed. Jalen Guyton got some passes. There was a couple miscommunication plays. Justin Herbert missed on a couple deep balls versus the Raiders. But as a unit, this team's looking good. Of course, there's a couple errors, a couple things to work up on. But you notice what also happened for the Chargers this week? The penalties. There were not half as many as there used to be. So if they could clean up the penalties, if they could get the deep ball down, if they can be a dual threat on the ground and through the air, this Chargers team will stay in the conversation of a Super Bowl team in the Super Bowl double. I'm not exactly sure how far they will get. Again, we're only a quarter way in the season, not even. But the way Herbert is performing, the way this team is performing, they will be at least in the conversation. And this is how you build MVP conversations. This is how you build dynasty. This is how you build franchises. I'm getting really speculative here, but this is the groundwork. This is the base frame of what you need to be a successful franchise for a long time. Have your quarterback, have your coach, have a couple other stars, and have good people, good staff that know how to develop players as well. As always, and of course, guys, I got to hear your opinion. I know this was kind of a Raiders in-depth video, but I highlighted them as well as to why I think they could be a top team. It's Derwin James, Joey Bosa. The key things of them being a Super Bowl team, I guess I should sum up, is just health. Derwin James got to be healthy. Joey Bosa got to be healthy. God forbid Herbert gets hurt. Everyone got to be healthy. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. B, reduce the penalties. C, understand there are going to be growing pains. This is still a young team. This is still a new team. Be patient and realize technically this team should be a year away. At this point, we should be grateful for anything they are doing, because I do think in one more offseason with maybe an extra tackle or an extra guard, maybe an extra, cornerback, maybe an extra linebacker, whatever it is, I'm just getting nitpicky, a little far to say now, but it's a couple extra pieces and through the draft and free agency, the Chargers team will be even better next year than they are this year. But we'll have to see how it goes. As always, and of course, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about the Chargers. Are they Super Bowl contenders or not? As always, and of course,